goodness, we have some neighbors that children tend to yell down the place. Good evening, everyone. Hope you are doing well. I'm just simply doing some chart work here on some foreign exchange pairs to see what's going on. So I am looking at the DXY. And why would I be looking at the DXY? Simply to get confluence so that I can understand what some other major pairs may be doing. So I'm just going to be here in the background just doing some chart work just to get an idea as to what can potentially be happening for tomorrow, with tomorrow being non-farm payroll. We can look out to see what might be happening in these markets. So how did I get to this point here? So I'm simply going to just delete some of these things. I wonder if I can just delete a few things without deleting my lines. Yeah, I can do that. So let's just delete. Right, so why are we on the 4-hour chart? Simply because we want to get a better understanding of what price is really doing. Of course, we're going to be structuring our basis from the monthly time frame, come all the way down to the weekly, and of course then the daily, and then of course then the 4-hour time frame. So that's essentially what it is we are working with. All right, so let's get this going. So we have some structure that we're looking at here, just looking to see what price is potentially doing. All right, so we deal with levels, counts, and cycles. So I'm just looking at, let's see, level 1, level 2, level 3. So let's see if I can do this down, because I'm not even sure if this is even coming out in the background. There we go. Don't need to be copyright stricken. All right, so let's see. I have essentially a peak low. So let's go to the weekly time frame. Let's see what's going on here. Let's just delete this. All right, so on the weekly time frame, we can see 3 structured pushes. 1 push, 2 pushes, and this is a 3rd push in this area here. All right, so as we are looking at that time frame on the weekly time frame, we understand that when price makes a peak high or a peak low, which you can clearly see right here, right, this is a structure that the market makers will typically make. You can see right here, right? You don't necessarily need trend lines, right? You can clearly see it with your eyes. So we understand when the market makers create a peak structure, they potentially want to create a cycle. These cycles can be bullish or it can be bearish. So let's see what is happening before our very eyes. All right, so this is one cycle here. This is the second cycle, bullish cycle. So we can estimate that price is going to make a 3rd cycle, right? And this is just watching it on the daily time frame. Sorry, the weekly time frame. All right, so this is, let's get this here. This is level 1. This is level 2. And we can potentially be seeing a level 3 being created here. All right, so let's just delete these 2 arrows so we can see things a lot more clearly. All right, so this here is a range, right? You can see a range, but within this range you can actually see these cycles. So let's look at what happened here. Where can I see with my naked eyes, where can I see a structure being created here? This is just a retracement, right? This is a reset structure, right? Let me just show you what I'm speaking about here. Let me just get this. This is a reset structure, right? My system is freezing. My system does not want to work all of a sudden. Talk about a heavy workload. So while we wait, I shall sip on some coffee. Right, are we back to normal? Yes, so this is a reset structure, and in that reset structure we will see level 1, level 2, and you can see level 3 here. Right, creating a cycle. And let's change this to a cycle. This is a mini bullish cycle, whereas this was a mini bearish cycle. Let's change this up. Alright, but of course we don't want to be too confusing, so let's just undo that. Right, so we are understanding that we have a peak structure here. Right, we are looking at this peak structure because we are looking for a bullish cycle, right? We're looking to see if we will get any continuations in that direction, right? And in looking for that, we can see, I apologize that my system is sticking a bit. We have one level of rise followed by a reset. This is the second level of rise followed by a reset. And now we can see the 1, 2, 3 pushes, right? Completing that cycle, right? So let's change this to a cycle. Alright, so that is one cycle. This is the second, well, sorry, this is the first cycle. This is the second cycle. So can we be looking at a third cycle being constructed here? Right, let's just put this here so we can think this is potentially another reset structure, right? So let's change this to a peak reset, right? This was also a peak reset, right? What is this peak? Oh, let's just delete that, right? Let's just delete this. Delete, alright. And then later on we will get into why we are looking at it that way. Alright, so this was a range that the DXY was making here, and you can see that this is just a simple range, right? Price was roughly moving in a how many pips? 7,000 pips, or 7,000 pip range, right? This entire area right here was a roughly about a 7,000 pip range. All right, no problem. So we understand that. That is to say that in between we will be able to find some investments to look out for, while price is ranging. All right, all we have to do is understand the cycle that the markets are in, and that will allow us to be able to place our investments accordingly. All right, so that's that. Now let's go to where price has currently started to move bullish. All right, and we want to look in to see what it is we are seeing. Now bear in mind we are just using the weekly time frame for now, but of course we will go to the lower time frame just to see how price is formulating on those time frames. So let's look at this as this can be, let's see, this can be potentially the first level of rise. Let's change this to a level. This is the second level of rise, and this is potentially the third level of rise. Now my idea and concept was that they were going to push price to roughly a price point of 110, right? You can see it right here. This is a whole number, a quantitative number. So I was estimating for price to potentially do that, right? Now let's see, right? So let's see if my levels are correct by going down deeper, like diving into the lower time frames, right? So this will give us an idea as to what it is we can potentially look out for. All right, so going down to the daily time frame, right? So we can clearly see this play out right here. All right. So let's get some numbers. All right, simply put, this is level 1. Come here, number 1. This will be number 2. And this is potentially number 3. Oops. Alright, so this is potentially level 3. Right, so these levels and cycles, they play out on all asset classes, they play out on all time frames as the market is fractal. That's a lovely part about it. It's just that we have to execute patience where investing is concerned, you know. Being able to see these things over a period of time is ideal for us to learn and understand. So it's just simply the way the market cycles work, right? There is no trend lines, there is no indicators besides our understanding of what price is doing, and just being able to see these levels and cycles play out, being able to be patient to wait for them to actually play out, and then executing, right? It's a disciplined approach to investing, and that, for me, is one thing that a lot of retail traders do not have. There are so many concepts that are out there that persons don't acquire the discipline to be consistent with one concept or one strategy or one method and system, right? And they will go from one thing to the next thing over months, well, weeks, months, and sometimes years. I fell victim to that over many years, but of course, I've reached this level of being able to see this much more clear than I did before, much more clearer than I did before, right? So that's simply because I was mentored from a lovely community, and I'm still a part of that community, right? So I'm just expressing my own personal knowledge and experience here, all right? So we are on this potential third cycle right here, this third level, sorry, right here, right? So let's showcase something here. We are back on the weekly time frame. How far will these cycles play out, or these levels play out? It's somewhat determined by the cycle that they are in, right? If it's bullish or bearish, or if it's ranging, right? And that will give you an idea of how far a price can actually move up or how far price can move down, right? So there are some simple structures in place to get a better understanding and idea of what it is we can potentially look out for, right? Swing investing is ideal for this method and system. However, we can get day trades, intraday trades, and swing trades. So those are the lovely thing about this particular style of investing. All right, so I came to the weekly time frame to show you something here. You are seeing this playing out on the weekly time frame, and you will also see this playing out on the monthly time frame. But look at this: level 1, reset; level 2, reset; level 3. And this is a correction, right, with a reset structure: level 1, level 2, and level 3. Reset structure right here, and this is the actual move to reset. This is a big reset to create this reset structure here to continue this entire cycle that is being created here before us, right? So when my system stops freezing up, yeah, I'll eventually have to get another system. Right, is it working? Yes. All right, so as the market reset here, look, we have level 1, reset; level 2, reset; level 3, right? And this last level here, you can clearly see the 3 pushes here. First push, second push, third push, reset, and look, after that it started to create a range, right? Some things happen after a cycle is completed. It can be on the high time frame, or it can be on the lower time frame, and I'm speaking about from The monthly gives us, given that the price of that given asset has, many years of data, the monthly time frame, you will be able to see these same resets. Um, but going from the weekly to the daily to the 4 hour to the 1 hour to the 15-minute charts, you will actually see these playing out time and time again. All right. So, and that's just simply because the market is fractal. So, all right, no problem. So we can clearly see these pushes happening before our very eyes, and we can be patient to look for any particular investments. All right. After every cycle has been completed, you will see a reset structure. The market makers will change them up. All right. And the idea is, of course, to get people into the atmosphere of trying to get into the market, right? Remember, the market makers, the dealers, are creating a trading environment for us to participate in. And depending on our discipline, our experience, our skill level, our understanding, our application, and the way we conduct our business with this entire business itself, will determine the results that we gain on a regular basis. As I mentioned, most people are not disciplined, they are not consistent, they don't have a trading plan, they don't have a business plan, they don't have an idea about how trading really works. They just see dollars and money, being made, and that's all they really care about. I was like that at one point in time, right? So experience is a major thing where investing is concerned. On top of that, application of knowledge is where true power will exist. So this is me just applying my knowledge here, in the bat cave. All right, so let's go. So as I was showing before with regards to the levels, still on the weekly time frame, you can see first push, second push, and this is potentially the third push that is happening here. Right, so let's go down to the daily time frame, and I am seeing these pushes here, so we can, so let's put this as a reset structure. Even though it's not really that clear, it is a reset structure. Look, another reset structure right here. Right, so as we go down to the lower time frames, you will start to see these levels and cycles much more clear than you would on the higher time frame, but the higher time frame gives us a better understanding of the direction that any given market is moving. All right, you can go to gold, you can go to Bitcoin, you can go to any one of the forex pairs, you can go to some stocks. Well, you can go to all stocks, but I don't really go to stocks, right? But you will still see these cycles and then playing out before your very eyes. All right, so level 1, level 2, and level 3. So what can we assume that is going to potentially happen? Well, after tomorrow, NFP comes in, and we can potentially look out for a formation where what they can be doing is they may push price up, and they do not have to go into this whole number being 110, right? Price does not have to do that. They can go like really close to it, and what they can do is something as simple as starting to sell off the market, and this can actually happen over a couple of days or a couple of weeks, right? Let's get this, and they can create another structure that can probably do something like that, and then we can maybe see price tanking, something along the lines of that, right? So essentially they can create a market structure, something as simple as that, and in doing so, once we understand how to apply ourselves with the levels, right, the counter cycles, once we understand how they are doing that, we can just simply be patient enough to look out for an investment either on this side, or depending on how they structure it here, we may be able to get an intraday investment. And I'm not talking about the DXY, I'm speaking about the correlated major pairs, right? Anything that moves in the direction of the DXY, such as USD JPY, USD CAD, right? Any one of those that goes in the same direction of the DXY, we can look out for bullish momentum, right? Bullish price action, and then we can potentially see they turning around and creating some bearish movements, which of course correlates to the same major pairs such as USD/JPY as well as USD CAD. All right, and of course the inversely correlated pairs such as EUR USD and GBP USD. For now, they will be going bearish, right? Because the DXY is going up, those major pairs will be going down. Sorry, those inversely correlated pairs will be going down. All right, so that's as simple as it gets. So if we go to the 4-hour time frame here, if my system would actually work, what can we see here? Now, as I would have mentioned, they tend to change these scenarios up, and that is where the trick of the trade really lies, really and truly. It takes some time for you to see these things, right? The way they move, the tricks that they play, in order to be able to set ourselves up and literally just leave these investments, let it play out. If we get a percentage decrease on any given instrument or any given pair, that is not a problem. Why is that not a problem? Because we would have managed our money, and then we would have managed our risk out of our money, right? Our capital. Then all we have to do is just be patient to wait for another setup to come, right? It's as simple as that. So we are not in the mindset that we are going to revenge trade, or we are just looking to get back any money that we would have had a percentage decrease with, so it's just some simple factors, just being disciplined with a core structured system, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it, really and truly. Once you get an understanding for it, you just simply need your own personal capital to put in your own brokerage accounts. It's different from region to region, right? And you just simply apply yourself and continually learn about your application, right? That is where your experience comes in. All right, so let's go down. We can see this can be like level 1, can be like level 2, and this can be, it's an odd structure because this was I think it was this was like a Sunday, well, sorry, a Sunday into a Monday, and this was how price actually reset at that point in time, right? So let's put that here, right? Just for a rough illustration, that's the first level. And then let's see what we are seeing here with the secondary level here. So let's see if I can get this to work. This is level 1, level 2, and level 3. Right, and now what is really going on here? All right, now as I mentioned, they change these things up a little bit. So it can be level 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and this is where some of your application will look a bit, off. And this is simply because we are not in control of the markets. They have to print these things before us. But once we just understand these structures, we just have to be patient to wait for them to play it out. How I started the stream, I had something drawn out from before, but I'm just doing it over here. All right. So this can be their actual reset structure. So let me just draw this here. Right. So that is a reset. This is a reset right here, right? They just play these tricks differently. It's as simple as that, right? And as far as I can see here, this is the third level playing out here, right? So we can see some projections, something along the lines of this, right? So something like that can happen. Let's put it up to something like around here, just for the sake of illustration. This can probably be something that would be nice to see, right? Right, we can look out for maybe something along the lines of that. Right, they create a 1 Let's get this arrow here so you can see. Right? They can create a first push, a second push, and a third push, or they can create a first push. This can be the second push, and this can be the third push. Or we can look to see how price is moving. We can potentially get in for an investment to go short for an intraday investment, right? On correlated and inversely correlated pairs, right? And you know, it's nice to really see these things and then play out time and time again, and it increases your confidence with being able to invest, to be quite honest. Given the circumstances that the global economy is, all over the place, being able to depend on a skill set that is not reliant on you trying to sell a product to someone, or being able to, let's see, what was that? Yeah, not being able to, let me see, right, yeah, being able to utilize your own insights to be able to turn your own personal capital to grow it, something like a bank. That's essentially what this is, right? And again, it's not dependent on sales, commissions, or anything along the lines of that. You are essentially taking your own knowledge and applying it in your own personal investing account or your brokerage account. And you're being patient and you're being disciplined, and all of these things compound over time. And within 1 year, you will be able to see some results, or even in a shorter space of time, once you actually have capital that you can allocate towards investing. That makes a major difference. All right, so if we are understanding, that a lovely skill set like this, right? So let's just do something like this. If my system would stop sticking a bit. What are we looking at here? A potential cycle. Right, so this cycle, let's go to the higher time frame. Let's go back to the weekly time frame. What does that look like? Right. So if you guys are starting to understand how this looks here, level 1, level 2, and level 3, of course, as mentioned, it's different every time. So of course, this is where our application will get tested. But over time, we get to understand these things because these things are repeating time and time and time and time again, right? Any asset class, you will see this on Bitcoin as well, right? Just go look at a Bitcoin chart and let's just look at the cycles, all right? And this is a research structure. This is a level 1, level 2, and level 3. So if these cycles are playing out something like this, can this actually mean that we are potentially about to see another cycle go bullish? Let's draw it from here. And something like this be an outlook for the DXY. Alright, let's put this here. Let's make it a little bit more neat. Right, can this be a potential for the DXY? Alright, so let's clear up this chart just a little bit. Let's just remove some of these things here, so you guys can see this much more clearly. Let's just get rid of this. Let's just get rid of these things here. Matter of fact, let's just see if I can remove these things without getting rid of my quarter query lines. Alright, so now that that has been removed, can you think that this now can be an actual level? Just like you have these type of levels here, level 1, level 2, and level 3. Can this be something that is possible? Right, this can be a level 1, and then just like where we would see something like, let's see, let's give this one a look here. After we see a level 1, level 2, and level 3, and then a peak, look at the reset structure. But guess what it did? It continued. So let's just have fun and just draw this out. So this is the level 1, this is the level 2, and of course this is the level 3 here. Right, let's put this inside. So look at what happened. Price reset, right? This is, I'm not going to use the proper terminology here right now, but look at this. This is the first portion and this is the secondary portion here. This is the first reset. All right, there's just some ways that they will actually make this. This is the first reset. Excuse me. And this here is the second reset. Before, price, it didn't go parabolic, but I mean, look at it. First push, second push, third push. Right? If you cannot see it, let's draw it out. Level 1, level 2, level 3. Right, that's that. Alright. So that is another cycle. Alright. Simple. Alright. And then of course inside of it these are 3 small pushes, right? 1, 2, 3. Alright, so as we are looking at this one in particular here, level 1, level 2, level 3, reset structure. Alright, let's go to where price is now currently. Let's reset the charts, and this is where price is now currently. Alright, so can we actually see something like that happening here where they create a structure like this? Alright, can they create a structure like that, reset, and then potentially create a structure to start to go onto a higher level, right? Creating a base structure to create another one of what it is you're seeing here. Are you getting the picture? I mean, you know, it's simple to understand, right? And the application itself is simple, really and truly, and the patience, it builds up. And let's look at URNTD. Alright. Some pairs, it may look a bit more erratic, but after a period of time, you start to get an understanding for this. Alright, let's go to the forward chart. Alright. This was something that happened from last December, November, I think it was. Yeah, November into December. This investment would have taken 18, 19 days or something along the lines of that, 20 days to actually play out. Set it, leave it, let it do what it has to do, right? Once we understand these cycles, they are going to play out. This is me looking out for a potential bearish structure, right, to continue going bullish. Right, this was something that I noticed yesterday. Alright, let's go to the 50-minute time frame, and these things play out in the 50-minute time frames as well too. Alright, first structure, second structure, third structure, reset, level 1, level 2, level 3, reset, and I'm looking out to potentially get some bearish movements here. Alright, so this is an intraday investment, right? Took 2 days, some of them can take 3 days, some of them can actually, maybe depending on the pip count, 50 pips, you can get that in 1 day. Alright, but it just takes some time to really be able to see these things and allow the market to do what they have to do. Alright, let's look at GBP and NVD. Alright, let's go to the 4-hour, and the 4-hour chart is really and truly one of the best ones to actually see these things. And you can actually clearly see it here. Let's reset these charts. Alright, there was also an investment here. I deleted it because I'm cleaning up my charts for 2025, but I would have gotten stopped out on, I think it was this candle, right? Because I was thinking that they were going to reset and go for the next cycle first, but I got stopped out first. But I also had a buy stop in place, and it pushed price in this direction and it just went to its target. I think this was where I got out. After that they reset and then they continued the last push, right? And now price is just potentially creating another bearish structure, right? I was anticipating this. I saw this first level, this is the second level, and they can be potentially creating the third level before they create their reset structure, something like this, before they continue to go bullish. All right. So who knows, they can be creating something along the lines of that. So we will be looking out to see how this plays out into 2025. All right. So simple structures, really and truly just repeated structures. You know, really lovely to see. All right. Let's go here. Right. Overall picture and the daily time frame. Level 1, level 2, level 3. And now you're getting all of these counts on the inside here. Right. So lovely to experience and witness these things and then playing out, you know, essentially like somewhat mind blowing, really and truly. Bearish cycle, right? Currently, price is still bearish, right? Looking out for a third push potentially, and then of course, with NFP happening tomorrow, we can see what may happen. They can potentially start to go bullish. Who knows? I'm not sure. We're just looking out to see how they're going to be playing out, right? Same thing with GBP USD, right? Still continuing that momentum downwards, right? People like to trade the news events, and you can actually be able to benefit from some of the news events, right? Once it is you understand. In this case, we can clearly see FOMC just drove price in the direction to continue the bearish cycle, right? They use news events to really move markets in their favorable direction. And once it is we understand these cycles, well, we just have to hitch a ride with them. All right, so I'm looking out to see what AUD is doing. They're really and truly just ideally just as I say it, patient space, right? The stop loss must go where the stop loss has to go. All right, so I'm waiting to see how they really played this one out in particular. All right, and this is based off of the weekly time frame, so this is why this bullish investment will be here. All right, and yeah, you know, let's go to something as simple as Bitcoin. Bitcoin has some structures. I was looking out for Bitcoin. Let me just go to our time frame to show it a little bit more clearly. Set the chart. Right. Let's go to the daily time frame because it may be ideal to see it there. And this is where price is currently right now. This is a level 1, and this is potentially a level 2. That's going to be able to reset price before price goes bullish, right? So this, let me just move this, right? So you guys can understand why this is looking like this. It's simply because I'm thinking that this can be a first reset structure and this can be a second reset structure. This can be the first reset structure and this can be the secondary reset structure before price goes bullish, right? So this here, this green line and these lines here are just an illustration as to what it is I can potentially expect to happen. And then we can look out to see if we can get some entries to go bullish. Right, we can start to purchase the underlying asset as well as we can utilize futures to make some investments as well too. Right, so across the board this actually happens. Right. Let's go to the weekly time frame. Let's just reset the chart. Right, and now we can say first level. This was the first level here, second level, third level. Actually no, I'm lying. This was just a cycle inside of the major cycle here, but I was checking something with how they were making these pushes and you can see that they're almost even, right? There's a term for that, right? So this was the third push before they reset and created the bearish cycle. Then price started to create the structure around 20,000 USD here. As you can see at the price here, around 15,000 US was for a token or for a coin, and back in 2022, yeah. And then they started their cycle, and then we had a presidential election just recently, and then price actually finally went to 100,000 for the first time, right? It topped out at 107,000 USD, somewhere thereabouts, and now it's creating a cycle to potentially continue going bullish. And of course, for January, we should be having some lovely events, some catalysts to push price in this favorable direction. So of course, we just have to again be patient, right? So I just wanted to do some chart work and share some insights as to what it is I'm looking out for and share my own personal experience with regards to investing. And it takes some time to really get a much better understanding of how to apply ourselves, but over time really and truly it turns into a beautiful masterpiece, to be quite honest. All right, eventually the money will come. It's a lovely skill set. All right, so with that being said, I hope that you found value in what it is I just shared with you. And of course, until the next episode at some point in time, always stay awesome. Have a great day, Royals. Cheers. Let's see. Find this. It's legit. Don't you think?